Hello interwebs and happy holidays. Whatever holiday you celebrate, this is a great recipe to bring to your family gathering. And if you have no family, I'm sorry. But this week we are going to be making Nutella cinnamon rolls. Now you could find about a million other recipes to make, but this is the one that you should make right now. So let's take a look at the ingredients. So the first thing we have to do to get our dough started is we need 1 cup of warm water. Now we're gonna bloom our dry active yeast in there with about a teaspoon of sugar. Dum dum dum. All right, now we need about a teaspoon of sugar. Can you put it in and then stir it up? Okay, so we're just gonna set this aside and let it bloom for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna add it into our dough. So while we're waiting for our yeast to bloom, we're gonna get our milk mixture ready. So I'm gonna take half a cup of milk and heat it up on the stovetop. Now we don't wanna bring this up to a boil, we just wanna get it warm so we can melt the sugar and the butter in.
Turn your milk in. Turn your pan to medium high.
So now our milk has come up to a simmer, and Avalon's gonna dump in the sugar and butter and mix it up.
Yummy, yummy sugar. Now goes the butter. Mix it up real good. Mix, mix, mix the butter up, yeah, butter. Uh-oh. Make sure to be messy.
All right, Avalon, so it looks like our yeast has bloomed. As you can see, it is doubled in size. We've got our milk and sugar butter mixture. That's ready to go. And now we're gonna add 4 cups of flour, 2 eggs, put all this stuff together, and that's gonna be our dough. Got all of our flour.
Okay.
All right, now we're gonna pour our yeast in. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Ewy.
It's foamy. What does that smell like?
Oh.
It smells like foam.
Dump in your butter.
So we're gonna put the vanilla in here. Bloop. I'm gonna crack a couple eggs in here. 1, 2. So what we're doing here is we're just gonna stir this to combine. Then we're gonna flip it out onto our board and knead it for just a few minutes. And then we're gonna let it rise. So before you tip out your dough onto your board for kneading, what we're gonna do is put down a bunch of flour on the board so it doesn't get too sticky. And now we're gonna knead it.
Can I do it please by myself?
All right, we're finished with our dough. Now we're gonna set it aside and let it rise for about an hour. But before we do that, we wanna go ahead and... Before we do that, spray this bowl with some nonstick spray. So now we're just gonna cover this up with some saran wrap, and we're gonna set it in a warm area for about an hour, and it's gonna double in size, then we'll be ready to roll out the dough. Okay, so our dough has been rising for about an hour. Now we're gonna tip it out onto a floured board, and we're gonna roll it into a rectangle to make our rolls. All right, so we're just gonna tip this out onto the cutting board. Oop. Now we're gonna flatten it out a bit, squeeze some of that air out. And now we're gonna roll it into the shape we want. That looks perfect. So the next step is to spread our Nutella all over our dough. All right, so this stuff is kind of hard to spread, but just be diligent and you'll get there.
Chocolate goodness. Now what's the spoon after this?
Sure. Now we're gonna sprinkle this whole thing with some brown sugar and cinnamon. Okay, so now we're gonna take this whole thing and roll it up and cut it into rounds. Now we're just gonna take this whole log and cut some slices. All right, now I'm gonna take my pan spray and put it into my baking dish. Make sure that it's nice and coated. And now we're just gonna drop these right in.
1, 2, 3,
So the last thing we're gonna do is sprinkle some of this cocoa powder over the top, and we're gonna bake it at 375 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
All right, Evelyn, who gets the first bite?
Me.
You do? All right, let me cut you off a piece. Oh man, this looks delicious. Is it super good?
I love it.
You do? It's been a long time since you ate anything on this show. Let me have a try. Oh. Bro, that is a one-way trip to Flavor Town. I need some milk.
Me too.
All right. Cheers. All right, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this dirty spoon. Should I just throw it in the dish pit? What should I do with it?
I want my.
What are you going to do with it?
Chocolate goodness.